Hi guys, welcome back to AAA Backstage. We're here at the Wickham for Big Sound, and I'm joined by two people, Phoebe and Joey. Welcome guys, thank you for joining me. How are you?
Good, thanks for having us.
Talk about like the first show. I managed to catch a little bit of it. Was it as good as you'd hoped? Did you get what you needed out of it as a first show, sort of thing?
Yeah, a funny thing about that show, I would say, was that it felt very easy. We did so much rehearsing. We rehearsed for like a year in our studio, and on and off. But we really wanted the live show to be a development from the recordings, and for them to reach a little bit further. And we change arrangements, and there's always the ability to stuff it up, which is what we like about playing. So playing live we were saying it all felt like it was in slow motion a little bit. It sounds lame, but it sort of felt easy, and we just kind of slid into it. It was really fun. It was rewarding. Yeah.
And then so on that, like you say, messing up is, I guess, part of the charm of two people. Is there a big improvisation element to the live show, even in the studio environment as well? Is improvisation a big thing to two people?
Yeah, it is.
I'm a lot of the songs come from a lot of experimentation, so that's all part of it. And we always wanted to create a live show that had the possibility of being improvised. So that's kind of a basis for it. We're like quite rehearsed, so things are kind of set, but we always have the option to move things and change things around in the moment, and sometimes we do, and each show is a little bit different.
I did read that you can, for your, I guess, Melbourne little offset first show, you use the word cloaked when you drape yourself in this like red lighting and the fog and stuff like that. Is that sort of a barrier, I guess, between you and the audience? Because I've also read that you feel very homely in your studio. Do you want to make the stage as much as a studio as possible?
Yeah, we do. We want to create a world. That's sort of what we're doing with this whole band, musically and visually. And I wouldn't say it feels like a barrier. It's probably more so. We feel like we have more of an ability to connect when we can bring ourselves there. And it's funny, stage, audience. There's always a little bit of a barrier, but for us, it's like taking it home with us and sharing that. So
go back to the studio thing. I read that awesome piece on the Laneway blog about how you wanted to turn this dingy little nothing sort of run down, I don't know, little room in Melbourne into a home, basically. Is that can you? Because I know that, I guess the album was recorded there, and you spend a lot of time in there. Is that something you're going to continue going back to, or is that a one and done sort of thing for this album? Do you want to experiment for the next album or for the future? Do you want to change up the environment,
I would say that, that space is really unique to that record. I think we'll move on to another space and do a similar thing, but it needs to feel like the next thing.
The process of doing that we really like, but I think we'll just move on to a different space for the next record.
More home renos.
Yeah.
Start again.
Yeah. I do like, so we've heard two singles off what is to be the debut record, and we don't know anything else further from that, and I'm really excited about it. But the most recent song you put out, you considered a rock track. I'm really interested about that. Like, is this your take on a rock track? Like, explain that a little bit further. I'm really interested about that.
Oh, I'll leave it.
I don't know. It was maybe a bit of an afterthought. We hadn't come up with that before we wrote the song. I guess maybe it's just something about the bass line or the sounds within the song that we probably hear and know more about than maybe the audience takes in. So it's not it doesn't actually sound like a rock song.
But to us,
But to us, it's our version in our set and in our record.
Yeah.
It's that moment.
It's also the demo for that song initially wasn't at all like that. It was kind of probably a bit poppier and a little bit more slick, and it wasn't working. But we knew that the song was in there. It was really like in the last moments of production that we added these parts and like this distortion and really clangy drum samples, and it was like it unleashed. The song was like this scary beast, and yeah, I guess that felt kind of rocky for us, sort of out of control, and that's why we connect with it in that way, and it feels like that live too.
Yeah.